Hey guys, my name's Caleb Tennant. We just finished shooting with MotoOnline here at RedBud. We were testing the brand new 2023 KTM 450, and wow, what a big improvement from the old bike. Pretty much a whole new setup, everything from top to bottom. It's a whole new production bike. So we had a great day riding and we're going to break those things down. First of all, with the engine, they made some huge improvements with the engine. They first of all changed the whole placement of the engine, shifted the whole engine back to make the whole feel of the bike a little bit different in the chassis. But number one, the power delivery was pretty insane. A lot of power. They're definitely not something that's lacking at all on the bike. What's really cool with this bike was all of the whole new plastics. Obviously, that's added a lot more airflow. So at the back here, there's got a lot more room to let a lot more air in, which creates a lot more power. Also in the front, it has these little ribs on the front on the front mudguard, which helps with the airflow, number one, and also stops a lot of the mud flying up hitting your face. So that's a really cool new feature. As well as the side shrouds, you can get your foot a lot higher and rest your foot up on the front shrouds without it getting stuck as easily. And the plastics really look cool. It's a whole new sleek look, which I think adds a lot to the bike. Another really cool addition is they added the foot pegs, made it a lot bigger and wider, so you could really feel the pegs a lot more with your feet and it doesn't feel as small. So those are some really cool upgrades that happen with the new bike. One thing I really liked is the whole new seat. The seat is really stable. You can kind of sit wherever you want on the seat and you don't feel like the bike, like you're shifting around much on the bike. So I really like how the bike sits and the stability of the bike. You can really feel the balance is really stable coming into the corners as well as down the straightaways. I found it in the beginning a little bit hard to turn the bike. I had to play around with a different feel of how I got the bike feeling comfortable to get turning in the corners. But the whole feel of the chassis and the setup of it was really good, and I really loved the overall feel of the bike. The bike is still equipped with the Dunlop MX-33s, which is the best tire I feel all round. They're just the most reliable. They're great in any condition. So even today at RedBud, I could really feel like I could trust the tires to do whatever I wanted to do with the bike. So with the suspension setup, they added a whole bunch of new settings for the suspension. I could definitely feel, compared to the older models, that the front forks feel a lot more plush and you have a lot more control and feel with what the front end is doing. What's great about the shock, it's a whole new shock as well. I was really impressed with the shock. What's great about it is all the adjustments that you do on the bike is all done with your hands. You don't need a screwdriver to get in and change your settings. You can change your compression, rebound, the preload, all with your hands, which is a great adjustment to the bike. So I was really impressed with the whole feel of the suspension and found it was really balanced. So with the mapping, they made some big adjustments with the bike. First of all, they add something called the quick shift, which means you could hold on the gas, and when you click the shift, you don't need to shut off the gas or use the clutch. The bike does have 3 maps. It still has the map 1, 2, and the traction control map. The map 1 was really aggressive for me, so I enjoyed map 2 a lot more, and you could really feel the difference between map 1 and 2. Obviously, all the bikes still come with electric start. Another really cool part about the new bikes is they have the same frame between the 250, 350 and 450s, which are really cool. And with the subframe, they've added a frame that they've found the perfect amount of flex, but also it doesn't break as easy. So the subframe with a big crash wouldn't bend as easily, which will give you a lot more confidence. If something does go wrong with a big crash, you can get back on the bike and it's not going to get damaged as easily. What's also really cool is the bike is really thin, but it feels like there's a lot more grip than the previous bikes. Between your legs, you can really feel the bike gripping really well. So I must say, overall, KTM has made a huge step forward with this bike. Really super comfortable on it. Out the box, there's not too much you have to do to the bike. There's not too many changes I would feel like I have to make. Like I said, the engine is really, really strong. I had to actually tone down the power, even though I'm a really aggressive rider. Obviously, I'm a little bit more of a smaller guy. Out the box, you can go racing with this thing straight away, and KTM has done a great job of making all the improvements that's needed over the last few years to make this bike unreal. This KTM 250 was unbelievable. Definitely probably the best 250 I've ever ridden before, especially out the box. I couldn't believe overall how many improvements they've made with the bike, and overall how well this bike was from top to bottom. So I must say, with this bike, the biggest thing is I felt all round I could do what I wanted with this bike, put it where I needed to, and compared to the older models, I just feel like the bike's a whole lot more stable. And with that stability already on the 250, I just felt like whatever needed to be done on this bike, it would just let me do what I wanted, and there was never I felt like I never had a peak of the bike, couldn't let me do more. So that was a great feeling to have, and I really thoroughly enjoyed riding this bike. The 250 is obviously unreal, but the 350 has just got that little bit more power, kind of has the feel of the 250, but kind of is that perfect kind of in-between bike. And that's the bike I personally own myself. I own a 2021 KTM. Now I'm gonna have to obviously upgrade to this bike. So overall, I must say I was really happy with this bike, and what an amazing day riding. So again, what's great between the three bikes is when jumping between the 250 and 450 and 350, they all have a very similar feel. So they have all the same frame, the same subframe. So when you get between each bike, every bike kind of has the same stability, the same balance, and they've made a big improvement this year with making sure these bikes have really upgraded in that sense, and you can really feel the stability between all three of these bikes. So you really doesn't feel like the bike is unpredictable and you don't know what the bike's going to do. You kind of always have that feel like you know what's going on underneath you, which has been amazing. So a huge thank to KTM for bringing us out here and letting us test these amazing bikes. Also a big thanks to MotoOnline. Stay tuned for some awesome content and come look at what we think of these new bikes.